It was a time of evil and violence on the face of the earth. The Nephilim roamed everywhere, and they were multiplying. They were the offspring of fallen angels who mated with human women to create giant, warlike creatures. They were the bullies of the earth. Almighty God held counsel within himself. I regret that I ever gave life to this bunch of demons. It's time to end this. In 120 years, I will wash this filth from the face of the earth. Not just man. All the animals and the birds and the creatures that creep along the ground, for they have all been corrupted, and I am sorry I never made any of them. But when the Lord looked upon the earth, he saw one man who softened his countenance. One man whose heart was turned toward him. Noah. Noah shone like a bright pearl in a pile of filth. He was a righteous man, a direct descendant of Seth, and his heart beat only for Almighty God. Noah had 3 sons, all grown and married: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. This one small family glowed brightly in the darkness. God spoke to Noah. You must build an ark, a floating shelter for you and your family. God went on to tell Noah in great detail how he was to build this mobile zoo. God described its size, how many floors and how many cages for the animals which Noah would house in the shelter with him. He told Noah how to coat it inside and out with a natural tar that could be found in pits in the region. This was to make the ark waterproof. In other words, Noah was building a ship, but a ship without sails or oars or a rudder. Only God could make it move or chart its course. God ended his instruction with these words: When the time comes, I will send 2 of every creature, 1 male and 1 female. That is all I will need to refill the earth. As you build the ark, don't forget to stock it with food for the animals and for you. Of the clean animals and birds, those which you are permitted to eat, I will send 7 pairs of each kind. It took many decades, but Noah followed all the instructions that the Lord had given him. The entire time he was building the ark, he preached to the people around him. He told them of the destruction that was coming soon. But they would rather scoff at the strange man who built a strange boat with no sails, no oars, no rudder. When he at last finished building it to God's exact specifications, the Lord spoke to him once again. You, Noah, my faithful servant, have 1 week to get ready to enter the ark with your wife and family and all the animals. Noah spent those 7 days frantically trying to get the crowd to join him, but they did nothing but scoff and throw things at Noah. You better use the elephants to pull your boat to the water. There's no river anywhere near here. Not one person other than his family joined Noah on the boat. The crowd continued to jeer right up until the 7th day, when the big door on the side of the ark suddenly shut. A hush fell over the crowd at what they had just witnessed. That huge door had moved without help from any being, any wind. It just slammed. Then came the rain. It was as if an ocean had formed right over their heads and then slammed down on the earth. The water blocked their vision. It was hard even to breathe. Caves and gullies and small wells became powerful geysers as the water under the earth joined the water falling from the sky. It suddenly dawned on every person there. Noah had been right, and they were wrong. Some of them forced their way to the side of the ark. They hammered on the closed door until their fists were bloody and broken. They screamed, "Let us in! You were right! We're sorry we left your God. We want to serve him now. Just please, let us in!" The wood seller never thought his life would end like this. Sure, he knew that people drowned, but he lived in the hills miles from any significant lake or river. He grabbed a discarded scrap of lumber to try and keep his head above the water that surged all around him. He recognized it as a cast-off piece from the old barn builder. Of course he would. He sold him most of the wood that he used. The old locals called this monstrosity a barn, not a ship, or what was it the old man called it? An ark? Like a ship built up in these hills would ever have reason to float. But the old barn builder had insisted that his God, the Almighty One, had ordered him to build it decades before. The old wood seller had built his business around making little wooden statues of all the regional gods, the family gods, anything anyone wanted to worship. But the old man, whom he now remembered was called Noah, worshipped a God that didn't even have an idol. Noah bowed down to God, prayed to God, but he had never even seen an image of his God. Old Noah's God was getting the last word now. The wood seller floundered again as another geyser of water leapt up from the earth and sent the flood surging against the side of Noah's ark. He knew when he broke the surface that he was probably gasping his final breath. It caused him to think back over the last 50 years. 50 years ago, Noah, the crazy old man, had already been working on the boat for over a decade. But even with the help of his 3 sons, Noah wasn't getting very far. That's when the wood seller came up with an idea. He would supply Noah with wood, and even send him a craftsman or 2 to help out. And that would leave Noah and his sons time to build this monstrous barn. Not that the wood seller had any hope that this thing was ever going to get finished. But somehow Noah, that crazy old man, always seemed to have plenty of funds which he said were supplied by his Almighty God. The wood seller's business was barely scraping by selling his little false idols. So he and Noah had struck a deal. And the wood seller even liked the crazy old man. He didn't mind that the old man couldn't shut up about his coming destruction of the world, and how the wood seller's family could join Noah's family in the boat and be saved. Now, the wood seller didn't jeer or insult the old man the way the others did, but he sure wasn't putting his faith in the God of a madman. Besides, like everyone else except Noah and his family, the wood seller enjoyed many of the pleasures of the flesh, which Noah had said were absolutely forbidden by his God. About a week ago, though, things started to get weird. This barn or boat or, well, whatever it was just about finished. Noah started provisioning the boat as if he and all the animals of the world were going to take an extended sea voyage. Here in this landlocked region, which, let's face it, didn't even have enough animals to fill the cages in the ark, nor enough water to lift it. Well, this was just strange, but animals started coming through the woods and up the hills in small groups. 2 or 3 here, 30 or 40 there. Docile cattle walking calmly beside jackals and lions, horses and donkeys, birds and bugs, and some animals no one had ever laid eyes on. All calmly making their way up the hill, over the gangplank and through the building's one massive door, as if they were on a mission. Even then, Noah leaned out the high window in the ark, begging, pleading with people to save themselves and join him. But no one had entered. Not one person other than Noah, his wife, his sons, and his sons' wives. No other human entered, although many stood around laughing and jeering. Until, that is, the single huge door moved entirely on its own and slammed shut with a thunderous clap. Then the crowd was as silent as the tomb. Realization broke in on them, and they all rushed toward the ark and began hammering on the sides of it with their fists, screaming, "Let us in, Noah! We believe you! Don't leave us to die out here!" The pounding and the screaming became hysterical as the previously sunny skies burst forth with torrential rain, so hard that they couldn't breathe. They were drowning on dry land. No, not dry land. Streams and wells and dry holes gushed forth water from the middle of the earth. Now the frenzy of the crowd increased as they beat on the sides of the ark with bloody, broken fists and wept in sorrow and in fear. As the woodseller went down for the last time, he remembered all these things. And he wondered if Noah's words about the place called hell were real too.